By the time Pearl returned home, even her mother couldn't recognize her. But this wasn't the same Pearl who left the village dreaming of Lagos. This was a girl destroyed by her own dreams. Welcome back, my amazing family. I pray this week brings you peace, joy, and unexpected blessings. Pearl was a beautiful girl from a small village in Nigeria. She had smooth dark skin, bright eyes, and a smile that made everyone happy. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Okafor, loved her very much. They were not rich, but they worked hard to give Pearl a good life. You are perfect just the way you are, her mother would say every morning while braiding Pearl's hair. Never forget where you come from, her father would remind her. Pearl loved her parents, but deep inside, she wanted something different. She wanted to be like the girls she saw on Instagram and TikTok. They had big curves, expensive clothes, and fancy cars. They went to parties and took pictures in beautiful places. Everyone liked their photos and said nice things about them. Pearl would look at herself in the mirror and feel sad. Why don't I look like them? She would ask herself. Why am I so plain? When Pearl finished secondary school, she got admission to study at the University of Lagos. Her parents were so happy. They threw a party in the village. Everyone came to celebrate. Her mother cooked jollof rice and chicken. Her father gave a speech and prayed for her success. Go and make us proud, he said with tears in his eyes. But remember, your education is the most important thing. Don't follow bad friends. Pearl hugged her parents and promised to be good. But in her heart, she was already dreaming about her new life in Lagos. But little did Pearl know, the road to perfection was paved with pain. Lagos was nothing like the village. Everywhere was busy and loud. Cars honked all the time. Tall buildings reached up to the sky. People walked fast, always in a hurry. Pearl's hostel room was small and crowded. She shared it with 3 other girls. On her first day, she noticed how different the other students looked. The girls wore tight jeans, nice weaves, and makeup. Their bodies had curves that made boys stare. They carried expensive phones and bags. Pearl looked down at her simple dress and old phone. She felt small and invisible. During orientation week, Pearl met Sandra, Anita, and Nora. Everyone called them the campus queens. They were the most popular girls in school. Sandra had long Brazilian hair that touched her waist. Anita had curves that looked like a Coca-Cola bottle. Nora wore designer clothes every day. One day, Sandra walked up to Pearl in the cafeteria. Hey, you're new, right? Sandra asked with a big smile. Yes, I just arrived from my village, Pearl answered shyly. Oh, village girl, you're cute sha, but girl, we need to work on you, Anita said, looking at Pearl from head to toe. The 3 girls laughed, but not in a mean way. They seemed friendly. Don't worry, we'll help you, Nora said. Come hang out with us this weekend. Pearl couldn't believe it. The popular girls wanted to be her friends. She felt excited and scared at the same time. That weekend, the girls took Pearl shopping at a big mall. They bought her new clothes, shoes, and makeup. Pearl had never owned such nice things before. Now you look like a Lagos babe, Sandra said, taking pictures of Pearl. Pearl looked at herself in the mirror. She did look different. But was this really her? Every smile she wore in Lagos came with a price she couldn't afford. Pearl's new friends took her to parties every weekend. These were not normal parties. They were held in big hotels and mansions. Rich older men were everywhere, buying drinks and giving girls money. This is how we survive in Lagos, Anita whispered to Pearl. These men take care of us. They pay our school fees, rent, and give us money for hair and clothes. Pearl felt uncomfortable. But isn't this wrong? Sandra laughed. Wrong? Girl, this is Lagos. Everybody does it. Do you think our parents can afford everything we need? You have to be smart. At one party, Pearl met Chief Obi. He was a big man in his 50s with a round belly and expensive watches. He owned oil companies and had houses in different countries. You're very beautiful, Chief Obi told Pearl, giving her a cold bottle of champagne. What's your name? Pearl, sir, she answered quietly. Pearl, a perfect name for a precious girl, he smiled. Here, take this. He handed her an envelope full of money. Pearl's eyes grew wide. She had never seen so much money before. It was more than her father made in 3 months. Thank you, sir. she whispered. Call me Chief, he said, and this is just the beginning. I can give you everything you want. A nice apartment, a car, money for school, everything. All you have to do is be my special friend. Pearl knew what he meant. Her parents would be so disappointed. But she looked at Sandra, Anita, and Nora, laughing and having fun. They all had special friends who took care of them. Okay, Chief, Pearl finally said. That night, Pearl became Chief Obi's girlfriend. He gave her a nice apartment in Lekki and sent her money every week. Pearl stopped going to classes. She spent her days shopping and taking pictures for Instagram. Everyone in school started talking about her transformation. See Pearl, village girl don't turn to city babe, they would say. Pearl posted pictures online every day. She got thousands of likes and comments. People called her beautiful and said they wanted to be like her. For the first time in her life, Pearl felt special. But late at night, when she was alone in her big apartment, she would call her mother. How is school, my daughter? Her mother would ask. Fine, Mama, I'm studying hard. Pearl would lie. If only her mother knew the truth. The lies were piling up, and so was the emptiness inside her. Months passed. Pearl was living her dream life, but something was still bothering her. When she looked in the mirror, she still didn't look like the girls on Instagram. They had bigger hips, rounder butts, and tiny waists. Pearl was still slim and straight. One day, Chief Obi came to visit her apartment. He looked at her and frowned. Pearl, you're beautiful. But, he paused. But what, Chief? Pearl asked nervously. You need to add more body. Look at you. You're too straight. I like my women with curves, big yansh. You understand? Pearl felt her heart sink. She thought Chief loved her the way she was. I can try to gain weight, she said. No. That takes too long, Chief said, waving his hand. I'll pay for you to get surgery, BBL. You know what that is, right? Brazilian butt lift. They take fat from your stomach and put it in your yansh. Very simple. All the fine girls are doing it now. Pearl had heard about BBL. Sandra had done it last year. Her body looked amazing now. But Pearl had also heard scary stories about girls who died from the surgery. I'm scared, Chief, Pearl admitted. Chief Obi pulled out his checkbook. I'll send you to Turkey, the best doctors. Very safe. I'll pay for everything. Just do this for me, baby. You'll be the most beautiful girl in Lagos. Pearl thought about it. If she had the perfect body, Chief would love her more. She would get more likes on Instagram. Everyone would admire her. Okay, Chief, I'll do it, she finally agreed. Chief Obi smiled and kissed her forehead. That's my good girl. 2 weeks later, Pearl was on a plane to Turkey. Sandra and Anita came with her. They were all going to get surgery together. As the plane took off, Pearl looked out the window at Nigeria disappearing below. She thought about her parents in the village. They thought she was in school studying. I'm just making myself better, Pearl whispered to herself. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes, the things we do to improve ourselves can destroy us instead. The clinic in Turkey looked like a hotel. Everything was white and clean. Pretty nurses smiled and spoke English with accents. The doctor showed Pearl pictures of other women he had worked on. You see? Beautiful results, he said proudly. You will look amazing. Pearl felt nervous, but Sandra held her hand. Don't worry, girl. I did mine last year. You'll be fine. The pain is worth it. The night before the surgery, Pearl couldn't sleep. She called her mother. Mama, I just want to tell you that I love you, Pearl said, her voice shaking. I love you too, my daughter. Why do you sound sad? Is everything okay? Her mother asked with worry. Yes, Mama, everything is fine. I just miss you. After the call, Pearl cried. Something didn't feel right, but it was too late to change her mind. She had already come all this way. The next morning, the nurses gave Pearl medicine that made her sleepy. The last thing she remembered was counting backwards from 10. When Pearl woke up, she was in terrible pain. Her whole body hurt. She couldn't move. Nurses came to check on her and gave her medicine. The surgery went well, Dr. Yilmaz said with a smile. In a few months, you'll have the perfect body. Pearl stayed in Turkey for 2 weeks to recover. Sandra and Anita recovered faster than her. They were already walking around while Pearl still couldn't stand properly. Maybe your body is just taking longer to heal, Sandra said. Don't worry. But Pearl noticed something strange. Her skin around the surgery area looked red and swollen. It hurt more than the doctor said it would. Dr. Yilmaz, something is wrong, Pearl complained. No, no, this is normal. Some people have more swelling than others. It will go down, he assured her. Finally, Pearl returned to Lagos. Chief Obi picked her up from the airport with a big smile. Let me see my new baby, he said excitedly. Pearl showed him her new body. Even though she was still swollen and in pain, the curves were visible. Perfect. Now you look like a real woman, Chief said, hugging her. Pearl tried to smile, but the pain was too much. She got the body she wanted, but she was about to pay a price she never imagined. At first, everyone loved Pearl's new look. When she posted pictures on Instagram, she got even more likes than before. Her followers increased to over 100,000. People commented, Body goals, where did you do your surgery? You look amazing. Pearl felt on top of the world. Chief Obi took her to expensive restaurants and showed her off to his friends. Boys in school begged for her attention. But the pain never went away. Weeks passed, then months, but Pearl's surgery area kept hurting. It was always red and hot. Sometimes liquid would leak from the wounds. This is not normal, Pearl told Sandra. Maybe you should see a doctor here in Nigeria, Sandra suggested. Pearl went to several doctors in Lagos. They all said the same thing. Something had gone wrong with her surgery. The fat that was injected into her body was not healing properly. It was getting infected. You need to go back to Turkey and let them fix it, one doctor advised. Pearl called Dr. Yilmaz, but he stopped answering her calls. She tried emailing him, but he never replied. The clinic in Turkey had already gotten their money. They didn't care anymore. Pearl's health got worse. She started having fevers. She couldn't sleep because of the pain. Her beautiful new body was turning into a nightmare. Chief Obi started visiting less and less. You're always sick and complaining, he said one day. This is not what I paid for. But Chief, I did this for you, Pearl cried. Well, it didn't work out. I think we should take a break, Chief said coldly. Just like that, Chief Obi left her. He stopped sending money. He stopped answering her calls. Pearl was heartbroken. She called Sandra, Anita, and Nora for help, but they were all busy with their own lives. Sorry, babe, I can't help you right now. I have my own problems, Sandra said. Pearl was alone. Her rent was due, and she had no money. The pain in her body was getting worse every day. The people she thought were friends had disappeared. The love she thought was real had vanished. Pearl could no longer hide her sickness. Her body was failing. The infection had spread. Parts of her skin where the surgery was done started to rot. The smell was terrible. She could barely walk. She had to drop out of school. She couldn't even leave her apartment because the pain was too much. Her landlord came knocking, demanding rent money. If you don't pay by next week, you have to leave, he shouted through the door. Pearl had nothing left. All the money Chief Obi gave her was gone. She had spent it on clothes, bags, shoes, and partying. She had nothing to show for it. One night, Pearl looked at herself in the mirror. The girl staring back at her was not the confident Lagos babe she had become. It was not even the simple village girl she used to be. She saw a sick, broken person with a body that was rotting away. Pearl broke down and cried. What have I done to myself? She sobbed. What have I done? In her darkest moment, Pearl picked up her phone. Her hands shook as she scrolled to her mother's number. She hadn't spoken to her parents in months. She had been avoiding them because of all the lies. With tears streaming down her face, Pearl pressed the call button. Hello, Pearl? Is that you? Her mother's voice came through, filled with joy and worry. Mama, Pearl's voice cracked. My daughter, we've been trying to reach you. Where have you been? Are you okay? Mama, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I've made a terrible mistake. Mama, please, I need to come home. Pearl cried. What happened? What's wrong? Her mother's voice filled with panic. Mama, I'm sick, very sick. Please, I need help. I need you. Oh my God, where are you? We're coming. Your father and I are coming right now. Pearl gave them her address. She had never felt so relieved and so ashamed at the same time. Sometimes, We have to fall completely before we realize that home is where we should have stayed. Mr. and Mrs. Okafor traveled from the village to Lagos the very next day. When they reached Pearl's apartment, they knocked on the door. Pearl, Pearl, open the door. It's Papa and Mama, her father called out. Pearl slowly dragged herself to the door. When she opened it, her parents gasped. Jesus Christ, her mother screamed. The girl standing before them was not their daughter. Pearl was thin and weak. Her skin looked grey. The smell from her infected wounds filled the air. Mrs. Okafor covered her mouth with her hand and started crying. What happened to you? Who did this to you? Mr. Okafor stood in shock. His strong, proud face crumbled. My daughter, my Pearl. Pearl collapsed into her mother's arms. I'm sorry, Mama. I'm sorry, Papa. I wanted to be beautiful. I wanted to be like the other girls. I'm so sorry. Her parents held her and cried with her. They didn't ask too many questions. They just wanted to get their daughter home where she could be safe. Mr. Okafor packed Pearl's few belongings while Mrs. Okafor helped her daughter get dressed. They took her to the bus station and traveled back to the village. The journey was long and painful. Pearl moaned in pain throughout the trip. Her mother held her hand the entire time, praying and singing hymns softly. When they reached the village, neighbors came out to see them. They were shocked by Pearl's appearance. What happened to that beautiful girl? They whispered. She was fine when she left for Lagos. What did they do to her? Pearl's parents took her straight to their house. Mrs. Okafor prepared her daughter's old room. Mr. Okafor called the village doctor. The doctor examined Pearl and shook his head sadly. This is very serious. She needs to go to a big hospital in the city. I cannot treat this here. For weeks, Pearl's parents took her to different hospitals. Doctors tried different medicines and treatments, but nothing worked. The infection had spread too far. Her body was shutting down. Traditional healers came to the house with herbs and prayers, but even their medicine couldn't save her. Pearl knew she was dying. The body she had paid so much to change was now giving up on her. Pearl spent her final days in her childhood bed in her parents' small house, the same room where she used to dream about Lagos and fame and beauty. Her mother never left her side. She fed her, bathed her, and held her when the pain became too much. Her father would sit by the window and pray, tears rolling down his face. One evening, as the sun was setting, Pearl called her mother to sit beside her. Mama, Pearl whispered weakly. Yes, my daughter, I'm here, her mother said, holding Pearl's thin hand. I'm so sorry for everything. I lied to you and Papa. I didn't go to school. I didn't study. I followed bad friends. I did bad things for money. I changed my body because a man told me I wasn't beautiful enough. I was so foolish, Mama. So foolish. Mrs. Okafor's tears fell on their joined hands. Shh, my daughter. Don't stress yourself. No, Mama, please listen, Pearl insisted, coughing. I need to tell you. I need you to know that you and Papa were right. You always told me I was perfect the way I was. You always said inner beauty is what matters. But I didn't listen. I thought I knew better. I thought the world knew better. We forgive you, Pearl. Your father and I, we forgive you for everything, her mother sobbed. I just wanted to be special, Mama. I wanted people to like me. But now I know I was already special. I had everything I needed right here. I had parents who loved me. I had my health. I had my life ahead of me. And I threw it all away for nothing. Pearl looked at her mother's crying face. Promise me something, Mama. Anything, my daughter, anything. Tell other girls. Tell them my story. Tell them not to make the same mistake I made. Tell them that their bodies are perfect the way God made them. Tell them that no amount of beauty is worth dying for. Promise me, Mama. I promise, my dear. I promise, Mrs. Okafor cried, holding her daughter close. That night, surrounded by her parents' love, Pearl took her last breath. She was only 21 years old. The dreams of becoming perfect had led her to a tragic end. The entire village came for Pearl's funeral. Young girls who had admired her beauty and dreamed of going to Lagos and becoming like her now stood crying at her grave. Mrs. Okafor, though heartbroken, remembered her promise to Pearl. During the funeral service, she stood up to speak. My daughter died because she believed a lie. Mrs. Okafor said, her voice shaking but strong. She believed that her natural body was not good enough. She believed that beauty comes from surgery and money and men who don't truly love you. She believed that likes on social media and attention from people were more important than her health and her life. The church was silent. Everyone listened. Pearl was beautiful from the day she was born. She was smart and kind and full of life. But the world told her she wasn't enough. And she believed it. She paid with her life. Mrs. Okafor looked at all the young girls in the church. Don't make the same mistake. You are enough. Your body is enough. Your life is valuable. Don't trade your health and peace for fake beauty and temporary attention. Nothing is worth dying for like this. Nothing. Many girls in the church cried. Some had been planning to get surgery themselves. Some had been following the same path Pearl took, dating older men for money and dreaming of changing their bodies. Pearl's story spread throughout Nigeria. Her mother shared it on social media, newspapers wrote about it, people started talking about the dangers of BBL and the pressure young girls face to look a certain way. Sandra, Anita, and Nora heard about Pearl's death. They came to the funeral, crying and regretting how they had introduced Pearl to that lifestyle. They realized they could have been next. Chief Obi heard about it too, but he didn't come to the funeral. He was already with another young girl, probably promising her the same things he promised Pearl. At Pearl's grave, her father planted a flower garden. Every flower represented a lesson Pearl learned too late. Red roses for the love she had at home that she didn't appreciate. White lilies for the innocence she lost. Yellow sunflowers for the joy she could have had if she had just been herself. Years later, young girls still visit Pearl's grave. They read the inscription on her tombstone. Pearl's story is not just a story. It's happening to real girls every day. Young women are dying from BBL surgeries. Young women are being used by older men. Young women are destroying their lives chasing beauty standards that don't even matter. Your body is beautiful the way it is. You don't need surgery to be valuable. You don't need to change yourself to be loved. Real love accepts you exactly as you are. Social media is not real life. Those perfect pictures you see are edited and filtered. Behind them are real people with real problems. Education is more important than beauty. Character is more important than curves. Your peace of mind is more important than people's opinions. Don't let anyone pressure you to change yourself. Not a boyfriend, not friends, not society. You are enough. If Pearl could come back, she would tell you, love yourself, appreciate your body, focus on your education and your dreams. Don't trade your life for temporary beauty. It's not worth it. What lesson did you learn from Pearl's story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, true beauty comes from within. Stay safe, stay smart, stay alive. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today.